Hi, We Steamers. It's Sheila Kay here, and I'm so happy you've joined me today. Come in close, because we have a special poem to recite together today. Can you guess what this poem's about? Here's a clue. It's about a very small animal with a pointed nose, a furry round body, large ears, and a long tail. Have you guessed? Right! This poem is about mice. It's called 10 Tiny Mice. Listen, here's how it goes. 10 tiny timid mice scurried across the floor. They fooled the big gray hungry cat by squeezing under the kitchen door. Say it with me this time, okay? Here we go. 10 tiny timid mice scurried across the floor. They fooled the big gray hungry cat by squeezing under the kitchen door. Thank you for saying that with me. So, we just recited a poem about mice. And I was wondering, have you ever seen a mouse? If you have, what did you notice about it? Right, mice are pretty small. And they have whiskers on their face. And they can move fast. They can scurry, just like the mice in the poem. Well, you might see a mouse scurrying around outside your house, or you might even see a mouse inside your house. So we know that mice can live outside or inside. Usually, the mice who live outside live in fields where there are lots of trees and shrubs and bushes, and they like to live in nests. Their nests look a little bit like birds' nests, and mice usually make them from grass or pine needles or twigs, but mice are pretty smart because they can use other materials to make their nests with too. They might use cotton balls. They might even use pieces of old rags or fabric that they find. And they might even use pieces of scrap paper to make their nests. And their nests help keep them safe and warm. They help them store their food, and their nests help them take care of their babies. And speaking of babies, did you know that mice babies are called pups? And sometimes they're called pinkies. Boy mice are called bucks, and girl mice are called does. And I remember you said you think mice move fast, and they do move fast. They can scurry. They can do so many things with their bodies. They're pretty clever. In fact, mice can get very small and flat. They can flatten their bodies to fit inside tight spaces, just like the mice in the poem. Remember when they were squeezing under the kitchen door to get away from the cat who was chasing them? But mice are also good climbers and jumpers. I want to show you something. Here's a ruler with a piece of red tape on top, and here is a teeny tiny mouse. I'm going to hold him so you can see him like this. A mouse can jump from here all the way up to here. I'm going to show you again. From here all the way up to here. That is 10 inches high. So mice are really good jumpers, and they're good swimmers too. Now I also remember you said that mice have whiskers on their faces, those little hairs that grow outside of their snouts and on either side of their nose. But why do you think mice have whiskers? What do you think their whiskers help them do? Yeah, their whiskers do help them feel things. And for mice, their whiskers help them figure out what they're crawling on. So when they're crawling along, their whiskers can give them the message that maybe they're walking on some grass, or maybe walking on mud, or even walking on rocks, so they can tell the difference. And their whiskers also help them figure out if the air around them is getting warmer or colder. So their whiskers help them figure out if the weather is changing and what to do about that. So if it's getting cold, mice can figure out that they need to get inside their nests to get warm. So I was also wondering, what do you think mice like to eat? Yes, we do see lots of pictures of mice eating cheese, but some of their favorite things to eat are fruit and seeds and grains. Grains are the foods that we use to make crackers and bread and things like that. But mice who live inside a house will eat any kind of people food that they can find. And mice eat a lot. They can eat 15 to 20 times a day. They eat all day long. And since they eat so much and they eat a lot, they poop a lot. Mice can poop up to 50 times a day. And some mice poop almost 100 times a day. That's a lot of poop. So I was also wondering, can a mouse be a pet? Well, you might even have a mouse for a pet, or maybe someone in your family has a mouse for a pet. And if you do have a mouse for a pet, you can watch the mouse play and move around. They love to run and play. But you can also hold them if you hold them very, very gently. An adult, like your mom or your dad, can help you learn how to take good care of a mouse for a pet. Mice are fragile, just like the toads and the caterpillars we learned about in our other videos. They're very fragile, and that means they can be injured easily if they're not held gently. So we have to be very gentle and kind with them. And one very important thing to remember when you're holding a mouse is to never ever hold it by its tail. We always try to be very, very gentle with mice. So if you hold a mouse in the palm of your hand, the mouse can get very comfortable and over time will really let you pet it and become a good friend to you. So there are lots of ways you can play with a mouse, but we need to be gentle. We give them lots of room to run and play, and when we hold them gently, because that's the best way they can live and live their lives happily. That's the way we learn to treat them well and be respectful of mice. Wow, we learned so much about mice today, we steamers. We said a poem about mice. We learned about where they live, all the things they can do with their bodies. We learned what they like to eat. We learned about the special names there are for mice. And we learned how to take good care of them if we ever have them for a pet. Wow, it was so much fun spending time with you today, we steamers. We'll recite another poem or sing a song together again soon. But now it's time for our special way to say goodbye. I'll say it once, and then you say it back to me, okay? See you later, alligator. In a winky, little pinky. Bye-bye, butterfly. Bye.